Hi everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. I have finished with my big project using the Chaps paper collection, and I had some scraps left over, and it's not very often that I am able to make some masculine cards, so I thought I would use the scraps to do that. But they're sort of fabulous cards, and let me show you what they are. This Chaps paper collection, by the way, is available at Country Craft Creations. The link is in the description box. So I made a couple of cards. Now, one of the pages in the mini album has sort of a pop-up, so I kept that theme to make some cards. So you see this is pretty dimensional. It's a pop-up. Folds flat and then pops up. But, I mean, the card itself is pretty cool. I used a copper. You can't really see with the glare of the lights, but copper metallic paper on the outside. I had some copper embossing powder, so I used that with my sentiment, and then copper around here, and I just hand cut it. I just fussy cut it. So that is the front of the card, and then again there is the inside. I had the stamp set in my stash for quite a while, so, well, a couple of years. So I think it works out pretty fabulously. So I show you how to make this card, but let me show you a couple others so you get some ideas. So I had this motorcycle paper left over, and I think I stamped the happy birthday on the reverse of this paper, and that came out okay, but let me show you inside. So it opens up like that, and then this is dimensional. This is sort of the sentiment, and I don't know that I should have stamped it on this paper. I don't know if you can really read it. I mean, you can, but anyhow, that's what that card looks like. And it's pretty cool. So this has just one layer for dimension, where this one has two. And then the last one is this card. I've got the sentiments all ready, but I wasn't sure that I really wanted to use them. I'm not sure. I probably want to stamp them on a off-white paper at the very least, but this one pops up like that. So in this case, the gas pump is dimensional. You know, if you like Volkswagens, that's cool. And then I included this big sign that says gas. I'm sure that will lend itself to lots of dad jokes, and I just thought it was funny and left it in. So I still have to put a sentiment. I figure I'll just keep it in my stash until I decide that that's what I'm going to do with it. Now, let me show you how to make this card. So let's get our materials and let's get going. All right, to start with the card, I first fussy cut some of the elements that I'm going to have popped up. I first had glued the these pieces onto some cardstock. Heavyweight cardstock is the best. If not, if you have the Artisan cardstock, that would work. Or you even could do 2 layers of it. Just glue 2 pieces back to back. It's a great way to use your scraps. And then this label, I am adhering to some copper metallic paper. I first used some ATG because sometimes the liquid adhesive doesn't stick to metallic paper. And then I just fussy cut around it. If you have a Brother Scan and Cut or something that could make outlines to these shapes, that would be fabulous. I don't, and to be honest, by the time you're done, nobody will notice. So now I'm taking a piece of the pattern paper, and I like this rusty paper, and I add it onto a piece of that metallic cardstock. The inside, I don't put the metallic cardstock. I just add some of the plain paper on the bottom, and on the top, I take the pattern paper that has the other bottles, bourbon, whiskey, I don't know what they are. All right, I'm slowing things down a little bit. So this is 2 inches wide paper. I have 2 of them that are 2 inches, and I'm scoring every 1/2 inch. So you'll just score 3 times, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2. And then let's cut some strips of paper from whatever paper you have left. And I want it to be a little bit less than 1/2 inch. So just a smidgen less than 1/2 inch. I've decided that's my new channel name, A Smidgen Less. So I cut 3 strips of that pattern paper. Now I'm going to fold and burnish on the score lines before I do anything else. I'll do that with the second one. Fold and burnish real well. I normally use my bone folder, but I had this, whatever it is, on my desk, so that's what I used. Okay, I'm going to grab score tape, and it will go on the first and last of those 1/2 inch tabs. So we'll do that to both of them. I'll burnish real well. And then obviously I have some overhang on that one, so I'll cut it off. And now I'm going to take my almost 1/2 inch pieces and glue it on. For one, I'm going to glue it on the one closest to the back that doesn't have the score tape. And then that other one, the one in the front, I'll glue it onto both of those 2 sections that don't have score tape. You can use any scraps. I had scraps that matched the rust, so that worked real well. All right, so I'm going to peel off the backing of the score tape and put it right up against the center fold line and burnish real well. Then I'll peel off the other back of the score tape. This time I remember I wanted to add glue, liquid adhesive, in addition to that score tape. So I fold that to a right angle, make sure it's tucked in nice, and then burnish real well. So you see it's a right, it just looks like a cube in the center. And then since this is the middle one, I'm going to take one of my fussy cut items and just add some glue to the very bottom and put it on the card. Then I take the other one of my scored pieces, put it right up against that first one, burnish it, fold everything, peel off my backing. I remember to add my liquid adhesive. And then I want this to adhere to the first cube. So it takes a little finagling. I have to fold it and make sure it goes down. But once I know it's down, I'll go ahead and burnish real well. And then I'll take the other fussy cut item, and I'm cutting off that bottom part. If I put it in the center, I would have kept it on. But since it's going to go in the front, I'll add some glue and put it on that front cube. All right, now let's make the front of it. So again, I have copper paper. I have this sentiment that I embossed with copper embossing powder. I think I told you that before. Looked like one piece wasn't embossed, so I'm heating it up. And I layer this onto a piece of copper paper that's about 1/4 of an inch bigger. And I'm trying to figure out the placement of this. So we'll put the sentiment on the right-hand side. And then before I glue that other piece down, I decided, well, let's just have a little more dimension on the front. So I grab my foam adhesive. And you know, that stuff will curve. So I'm curving it around the side. And I'll do one more strip right in the middle. I have to cut that down a little bit because it's too big. And then we'll peel off the backing paper of this. And putting it on just so it overlaps a little bit, and put it on the left-hand side. And then we'll add the glue and put that on the card front. That touch of copper just adds a nice, dare I say, elegance. And then I've got the other sentiment that says happy birthday, again in the copper embossed. And I'll put that on. I'm trying to figure out where I want to put it, and I just decided I'll just stick it in the middle. I was going to put another fussy cut element to that, and you can. So I was looking and seeing if I had one. All I really have is the glasses. Everything else is cut. And that is the process on how I made these cards with just a little pop-up on them. Let me show you some of them in further detail, and then that is it. Thanks so much for watching. Happy